And for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Somebody said something last week.
Second, 2017. That working? I'll speak loudly.
I'm not working.
This one working.
Hit all on, Johnny, and see if that works.
Oh, no. Mine ain't working. I'm on. That's the only one on. Last week?
Let's do this. Try it now.
Mine ain't working. Try yours.
Just one.
Should be working.
I'm on. Now I'm on.
I didn't hear that. No?
Turn yours on.
Oh, no.
Is that?
Now we're on.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, we're good.
Thank you. Okay, let's try that again. Good evening, City Council, Mayor Burcroft, Treasurer Page, Deputy Clerk, and audience. This is the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting for Monday, October 2nd, 2017. And at this time, we will take roll call. Councilwoman Abdo? Here. Councilman Barton?
Here.
Councilwoman Choate?
Here.
Councilman Kraut?
Here.
Councilwoman Mikowski is excused this evening. Councilwoman Roscoe
Here.
and Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Okay.
Tonight, we're presenting an amended agenda, and the amended agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda. Number 2, minutes. Number 3, petitioner. Number 4, chairperson's report. Number 5, mayor's report. 6A, clerk's report. 6B, treasurer's report. 7, public comment. 8, unfinished business. 9, new business. 10, communication. And number 11 is adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the amended council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Been motion by Mr. Kraut, supported by Ms. Roscoe for approval of the amended agenda as presented. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Choke?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Number 2 are the minutes, and for approval are the minutes from the regular council meeting held on September 25th, 2017.
Move for September 25th, 2017.
Support.
Been motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo for approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held September 25th, 2017. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choke?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
There were no special meetings held on September 25th, and there are no petitioners on the agenda this evening, which takes us to item number 4, the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, the chair going to recognize Councilwoman Abdo.
Thank you, Chairman. At this time, I'd like to ask for a memorial resolution for Clifton Gale Hariff. He was a lifelong resident of Romulus. He will be missed by many, his family, and especially the kids in the neighborhood.
So moved. Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Kraut for memorial resolution. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Choke?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. I'd like to, I don't know if Joe is looking on TV tonight, but I told him I would read this hazardous waste, some of this hazardous waste material from Wayne County. It's household hazardous waste collection, and it's sponsored by Wayne County Department of Public Service. And it's Saturday, October the 14th, 2017. It's 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. It'll be held at the Wayne County Community College District, which is downriver campus, 21,000 Northland Road. That's in Taylor, Michigan. Just give you a few examples of things that you can take to have disposed as household paints, stains, dyes, floor wax, floor care products, carpet cleaners, furniture polish, bathroom cleaners, stain removers, solvents, pharmaceutical waste, but non-controlled substance only, nail polish, glue, antifreeze, motor oil, gasoline, fire extinguishers, smoke detectors. That's just to name a few. And if you have any questions, you can call this number. If you have some items that you have questions about, it's area code 734-326-3936. 734-326-3936. I just want to congratulate, I went to the football game, high school football game, Friday, and the Eagles took first place in the league. The boys did a tremendous job at the end. It was a nail biter all the way to the end, and our Eagles won the game, and now we're in first place. Let's give them a hand. On that good note, that concludes the chairperson's report.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept your report. Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Choate, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Choate,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved. Thanks a lot.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, City Council, Treasurer, Clerk, Deputy Clerk, and audience. Tonight, what I wanted to start off with, if we could, Mr. Chairman, rather than in lieu of a quote, is, with this crazy shooting going on and unbelievable, it was the worst mass shooting that is known in U.S. history. Could we just do a quick moment of silence, if that'd be appropriate?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you.
Also, this every October, as you know, and I just want to raise awareness, is that this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You'll see a lot of teams, sports teams and others, and fundraisers and events raising money for breast cancer. A lot of us have been touched by cancer. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but breast cancer particularly, I know hit my family, and just do what you can do to support that. It's still quite an aggressive disease, and still trying to fight for a cure, so please be aware of that this whole month in October. We have a lot going on, so I'd like to do, Roger, if we could, is run the video clip, and then I'll get into a couple other informational pieces.
Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine Dancy. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Romulus Report Weekly News Show. Scarecrows will be put up in downtown Romulus this week. Please take a look at our Facebook page to vote for your favorites all month long. The city's Fall Fest will be this Friday, October 6th. There is free fun with hay rides and trick-or-treating in the historical park. There will also be concessions and face painting available for purchase. Bring out the whole family, costumes are encouraged, and please bring your own bag for treats. Hope to see you there. The Fire Department Open House will be this Sunday, October 8th. Come meet with our Fire Department and Fire Pup from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Fire Station Number 4 on Eureka Road. The Romulus Senior Center is hosting their annual health fair open to all ages on Tuesday, October 10th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be free health screenings, flu and shingle shots, as well as raffles and prizes. This has been Romulus News You Can Use. You can stay connected with us on romulusgov.com or on facebook.com/City of Romulus. If you'd like to take another look at this newscast, any of our City Council meetings, or other cable programming, please visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/City of Romulus. Thanks, and have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, Jazz. Thank you, Roger. And what Roger's going to run right now is a quick slideshow of an event that we had first time ever in the city of Romulus. This was the first ever Relay for Life event to raise funds for all type of cancer that many of you were involved in. So, Roger, if we could roll that. I don't think there's much narration needed with these photos. I mean, you can see the smile on the faces, and the smiles tell the story. Thank you, Roger. What I'd like to do, Mr. Chairman, is and this is a little overdue, but it's perfect timing with October, especially the focus on the breast cancer portion of it. But I'd like to recognize a couple people, if I could. The first proclamation is in recognition of Shona Sylvie Baum, and it just says, "I, Lee Ray Burcroft, Mayor and for the City of Romulus, wish to express my sincere appreciation to Shona Sylvie Baum for the selfless efforts, the countless hours, and dedication to our first ever Romulus Relay for Life, and raising awareness within the city of the cancer in all who have been affected. It was a wonderful community event that would not have been a great success without your passion, love, and enthusiasm." And I signed that certificate. I'd like to present it, if I could, to Shona Sylvie Baum. And just as important for our team Romulus, and again, this is overdue because these two do a lot for many different events. And so the first one, and again, similar proclamation, but changing some of the names. The first one is for Jerry Frayer, and again, thanking him for all his efforts, countless hours. He and his wife Jen basically were the captains of our team. Who put together the Team Romulus, which consisted of fundraisers, multiple fundraisers, the relay itself. They were there for countless hours, making it fun. You can see beautiful socks, Jerry. Look at it. But just really, and aside, not just for this event, Jerry, and I know Jen had to work tonight, but you know what? If we have an employee picnic, if we have an after-hours event for an employee who's battling cancer or an illness or whatever it may be, you guys are there. And not waiting for someone to ask you. I mean, in a staff meeting, the hands go up, and you do a phenomenal job. And we all owe a lot. And there's a lot of people like you that have that spirit, and we're grateful for all of them. But I wanted to single those two out and present them with this proclamation and let them know how much that we care for them and love their family and appreciate how much they give back to our community. So come on up, Jerry.
Open it up, yeah.
So with that, it was a great event. I know a lot of you were there. Thank you. A lot in the audience were there. Thank you. Just come out again next year, right? That's the plan. That's why we're doing this. If moving on some more just informational things, one that I wanted to request of Mr. Chairman from Council is a memorial resolution. Unfortunately, this is for the family of Daniel Wicker. He was a 20-year firefighter volunteer that lived in Romulus. Also, guess what? He was a veteran as well too. So he passed, and I would like to make sure that we do a memorial resolution for his family and keep them in our prayers, please.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Kraut, supported by Mr. Wadsworth for memorial resolution for Mr. Wicker. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Now for some of my action items, what you have under your the listed report for item A as a request that came through Lynn Conway, Purchasing Director, and Stephen Dudek, Technology Services Director. And this is a request to concur with administration and extend bid ITB 16/17-02. This is a one-year contract pricing for computer hardware, software, and software licensing acquisitions to Zones, Inc. Terms of the contract to end October 10th of 2018, and these funds have been verified and budgeted, and they're coming out of the Technology Services Equipment Maintenance and Contracts Capital Outlay.
Move for the extension of the ITB 16/17-2 for computer acquisition contract.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for extension of the ITB 16/17-02 computer acquisition contract. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next item is a recommendation came through Josh Monte, Police Captain, and our legal counsel. And this is to concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached agreement with Statewide Security Transport, Inc. for the transportation of Romulus Police Department misdemeanor prisoners. Terms of this agreement to expire in September 30th of 2019. Those funds have been budgeted and verified and coming out of the Board of Prisoners account that are to recover the costs associated with this agreement.
Chair, I'll make that motion for statewide security transport agreement.
Support, and I have a quick question.
Okay, it's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth for statewide security transport agreement. Discussion.
If I could, Kazamani, if they pick somebody up and take them a further distance away, do we pay more? Or
It's a set rate,
so wherever they take them, the rate's the rate?
correct?
That's one, fine.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next item is a recommendation that came from Roberto Scapatici, DPW Director, and our legal counsel, and it's to concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into a one-year contract extension for professional services for Ritter GIS until October 1, 2018, and those funds are available.
Chair, I'll make that motion for Ritter GIS contract extension. Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Choate for the Ritter GIS contract extension. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next item is a recommendation also from Roberto Scapatici, DPW Director, and this is to concur with the administration, authorize the DPW to dispose of the following vehicles to Victor Lotich with the disposal fee of $100 per vehicle, with all other proceeds going to the city to appropriate funds per attached spreadsheet.
So moved for the disposal of the obsolete Warner surplus property.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut, for disposal of obsolete, worn, or surplus property policy. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved.
Thank you, council. Next item is a recommendation that came as a request from Tanya Cofield, Recreation Department Coordinator and Legal Counsel, and this is a request to concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached agreement with the Romulus Athletic Club to allow the use of Elmer Johnson Park for the purpose of football practice and football games through the end of the season cleanup from October 7th, 2017 through November 10th of 2017.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Choate.
I'd like to make the motion that we concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into an agreement with the Romulus Athletic Club to allow the use of Elmer Johnson Park for the purpose of football practice, football games, and the end of the season cleanup from October 7th, 2017 through November 10th, 2017.
Support.
Been motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut. This is for the Romulus Flyers Agreement. Discussion.
Yes, I just wondered, do they have liability agreement with the city? Are we exempt from liability?
Yes, it's part of the agreement that legal counsel review. We do have an umbrella policy on all our properties as well, too. So, and it's the same agreement we've had in past years.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The last action item is a recommendation that came through Tim Keys, Director of Economic Development, and Pat McGow, the city's bond attorney. And as you know very well about this one, this is a request to adopt the attached resolution authorizing issuance of capital improvement bonds, Series 2017A, limited tax general obligation, for the purpose of cost of road improvements along Vining Road and Ecorse Road in the amount not to exceed $14 million. And if you recall, this was the one that we had the guarantee from Amazon.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for the resolution authorizing assurance of capital improvement bond for Vining and Ecorse roads.
Support.
Support.
Been motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for a resolution authorizing issuance of capital improvement bonds. That's from Vining Road and Ecorse Roads. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, City Council. That concludes my report.
6A is the clerk's report. Item 6A1 for second reading and final adoption is zoning ordinance amendment, Article 8, industrial districts. This ordinance amendment was introduced at the council meeting of September 25th, 2017.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'll make that motion for the second reading and final adoption of the zoning ordinance amendment, Article 8, industrial districts.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Choate, for second reading and final adoption of zoning ordinance amendment, Article 8, industrial districts. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A2 for second reading and final adoption of zoning ordinance amendment, Article 2, use standards, and introduced at the meeting of September 25th, 2017.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for second reading, final adoption of zoning ordinance amendment, Article 11, use standards.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Abdo. Second reading and final adoption of zoning ordinance amendment, Article 11, use standards. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
That I said, it looked like Roman numeral here on my
that
copy.
was-
I
we know what you
apologize,
meant.
it's Article 11, so apologize for that. 6A3 for second reading and final adoption is amended zoning ordinance to rezone 4.98 acres of property located at 37451 E-Course, parcel number 80-025-99-0001-000 from O1 office to C2 general business, introduced at the council meeting of September 25th, 2017.
We'll move for second reading and final adoption of amended zoning ordinance to rezone 4.98 451 E-Course from O1 office to C2 general business.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Choate, for second reading and final adoption of amendment zoning ordinance to rezone 4.98 acres of property at 37451 E-Course, parcel number 80-02599-001-000 from O-1 office and to C2 general business. Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Mr. Crowd.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Last item under the clerk's report for second reading and final adoption is Budget Amendment 17/18-9, General Fund, introduced at the council meeting on September 25th, 2017.
Yes, Ms.
So move for second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 17/18-9.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Choate, for second reading and final adoption, Budget Amendment 17/18-9, General Fund. Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Mr. Crowd,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. Before I close out my report, I'd like to ask council for a memorial resolution for Barbara Rupert. She was a resident of Romulus since 1973. She passed away September 24th. She retired from AAA, but she worked as an election inspector, oh my goodness, probably for 20 years. And we're going to miss her, and for the arrangements are being held at husband's funeral home, so you can contact them or visit their website as far as their funeral arrangements. We do have information that her visitation is this Friday, October 6th from 2 through 7, and Saturday is be the funeral services, but a timer hasn't been set yet.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Crowd, supported by Ms. Choate, for a memorial resolution for Ms. Rupert. Mr. Crowd?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
And lastly, just want to remind everyone that beginning Thursday, the 5th, we'll start mailing out our AB ballots. So you can look for them. You should have them by this weekend. And give us a call if you'd like an AB ballot, if you meet the qualifications. And with that, that concludes the clerk's report. And 6B is the treasurer's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Good evening, council, mayor, clerk, deputy clerk, and audience. Today, the summer taxes were due, and if you did not pay them yet, you can drop them in the drop box out front. We will empty that at 8 a.m. They will be processed and considered on time. So it is your last chance. Drop them in the drop box, and it will be processed on time as long as they're in the box by 8 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer.
Number 7 is public comment, and this is the portion on our agenda that's set aside for those of you in the audience who would like to have comments. If you have not submitted a request to address council, please raise your hand. After you've been acknowledged by our chairperson, approach the podium, state your name, and we ask that you please limit your comments to 3 minutes. If you have questions for council, please note that those questions will not be answered until, or they will be answered under unfinished business, which is item 8 on the agenda. Mr. Chair, we have 3 requests.
Okay.
The first one is Edward Martell.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Romulus residents. I'm Edward Martell, Romulus, Michigan. As we know, we have new developments of substantial size within our community, namely the Amazon and the Penske development, which could potentially equate to thousands of man-hours for men and women of Romulus. And I'm just hopeful that this body understands the importance of prioritizing Romulus residents working on the construction of these projects. Because after all, a working Romulus is a stronger Romulus. Thank you.
The next request is coming from Barbara Stantz.
Hi, I spoke last week, and I just want to say thank you to everybody for helping me resolve the issue.
Thank you.
And the last request is coming from Sandy Kraut.
Upon walking this, my name is Sandy Kraut, 9640 Washington Street, Romulus, Michigan. Upon walking the subdivisions, the thing I'm hearing most is, what about our roads? The subdivision off Beverly, west of Wayne Road, where our past councilman Jimmy Raspberry lived, the asphalt is so thin and cracked you see more of the sand below than asphalt. The main road into Meadows subdivision off Eureka Road at the light, Brant Road, is very rough, patch upon patch plus holes. Instead of a new road village, they feel road repair should be more of a priority of the current taxes being paid. I did tell the one resident I would bring it up at the next council meeting. Thank you.
That was the last written request, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any comments from the audience? Mr. Miller? Oh.
Good evening, Charles Miller, former Councilman Charles Miller. The same Charles Miller, while serving as your city councilman, gave all of his council pay to local charities, plus totaling almost $22,500. The only councilman ever in this city to do that. The same Charles Miller, who as your councilman was forced to temporarily resign to draw attention to the corruption in the police department. This paperwork proves that strategy worked to get the message out, yet nothing was done. Mr. Burcroft was Mayor Pro Tem at that time. He publicly said, "I knew nothing about it." The second highest office in the city, he knew nothing about it. I, Charles Miller, did, but no one listened. 2 people in prison, the chief, his wife, plus 5 detectives charged, convicted, and we are still suffering from the lack of confidence in the police department from that corruption. The same Leroy Burcroft, who took help from a convicted felon inside the UAW to help get the endorsement. While Mayor Burcroft was continued to work as vice president of the Bearing Service in one form or another, making it difficult to see him on short notice. Along the way, now Mr. Burcroft says he brought 4,000 jobs and growth. He did bring some growth, but it falls at the feet of economic developer Tim Keyes. The only thing Mr. Burcroft did was he affixed his name to the documents and probably went to his other job at the Bearing Service, which he's been working at. Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the audience? Yes, Jasmine?
Good
evening, everybody. I just wanted to reiterate something that I mentioned in the video report, but our Fall Fest is this Friday. It is from 5 to 8 p.m. down at the Historical Park. It's the third year for this event, and we're really looking forward to seeing it. It's been growing every year. There's lots of free fun for families that doesn't require any cost. We have hay rides, and then the Historical Society, we thank them for their partnership. They'll be leading stories, historical stories, and doing some trick-or-treating at some of the historical sites in our park. So, there's other options as well for those that want to purchase concessions. You'll be seeing some of our farmers market vendors there. And it's just a really fun evening, kind of celebrating the start of fall here in our community. So with that in mind, I was wanting to respectfully ask the council to consider a road closure request for Hunt Street between Bibbins and Goddard for Friday evening from 5 to 8 p.m. Just during the time of our event to protect the safety of the pedestrians walking throughout that area. And I will say that our public safety director is in support of this request. So I'd be happy to answer any questions or entertain that request if you'd like under unfinished business. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I make that motion this time?
All right.
I'd like to make the motion to grant a road closure between Bibbins and Goddard.
Support.
On Hunt Street. Thanks.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth for road closure. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Crop?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved. And, Mr. Chair,
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Wester, 61504 4th Street. I'm the president of the Romulus Athletic Club and the head coach of the junior varsity team. First, I'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you for approving the use of the Elmer Johnson's Park. It's through your efforts and those of the school district that we are able to keep our costs as low as humanly possible so that more kids in our community are able to participate. I just want to say thank you for your help.
thank you, Mr. West. Okay. Let's see if yes.
All right, am I beeping? Hi, good evening. My name is Shona Sylvie Baum, as the mayor was so kind to point out, and I am here with the representing the Romulus Relay for Life. And I didn't know how all of this worked, so I'm going to need a little bit more than 3 minutes, but I brought several residents with me to support me, so I'm going to take all their minutes. And so it begins. I was asked by Jasmine earlier this month if I could come back to you after speaking with you several months ago, about a year ago, to introduce the Romulus Relay for Life, and if I could kind of give a wrap-up of that. Well, I'm very pleased to do that. We had some goals. We set some goals, and I'd like to just kind of briefly go over those with you. We wanted to get about 13 teams of different organizations and different people throughout the community. We had 20 teams that were registered, and 17 of those were actually on the track for 24 hours. So that worked out really well. We were hoping to get about 250 people to register on our website, whether they actually showed up or not, but we wanted to get about 250. We had close to 400 people that registered on the website, and the estimates of the amount of citizens that came through and the people that actually participated were well over 1,000. So we blew that one out of the water as well. We had a goal to recognize 30 different survivors and have 30 people register on the website and be recognized at our events at the relay, and we had 55 registered survivors. We're hoping to get about $7,500 from sponsorships throughout the different businesses and organizations throughout the city of Romulus. We had over $11,000 in sponsorships from the people in Romulus. So we did really well in all of those things. And then the drum roll, please. We had a goal of reaching $50,000 in terms of raising money, and I just kind of threw that number out there. I had no idea where to go up with that, and we raised nearly $47,000. And after our expenses, we were able to almost give $45,000 to the American Cancer Society. So we have $5,000 more to go for next year. Like I said, I brought a few of my gang here with me tonight. So if you would indulge me for just a few minutes, none of that happened without all of the help from you. And many of the people that I'm looking at right now were instrumental in that. In fact, some of the folks that actually spoke tonight were also helpful to me. So if I could get Kristen and maybe Donna, Carmen, if you guys could come up and help me out here. So one of the first things that happened was about a year ago. I was having lunch at Walters, and we had been participating in Relay for Life in another county, in another place far, far away. And I asked Mayor Burcroft if maybe we could bring that home. And his exact words were, let's do this, let's make it happen. So on behalf of the Romulus Relay for Life and the American Cancer Society, I would like to give you our own proclamation and appreciation. So I'm gonna let you, we have a bunch of these, so I'm gonna have my folks hand these out to you guys, so I don't have too many extra more minutes. Okay, hang on a sec. So in addition to that, several of the folks who are sitting here were also instrumental in making this success. From Mayor Burcroft helping us get it going all the way along, to Ellen Page coming and singing our national anthem and starting it out. It was amazing and wonderful. Many of the folks across this room. And then to wrap it all up with both Councilman Wadsworth and John Barden getting very kind words and bringing us a check to bring the whole thing to a close. So I'd like to give you my appreciation very much to that. Two other folks that are very active in the city, Councilman Abdo, and is Tina Talley here in the house? Yes, she is. These ladies were kind enough to be the front face to all of the general public and ran our registration and info booth. And Tina was actually there for 24 hours, and Kathy was there for a gazillion hours. So again, we'd like to present this certificate of appreciation.
Very much.
One of the other folks that we contacted early on because we needed some help in this regard was the Romulus Police Department, and Josh Monty was very kind and helped us along the way. And all throughout the night, he took care of all the money counting that we were doing and make sure that our American Cancer Society person was safely escorted back and forth to the bank to make those deposits and to make sure that we had a safe and fun event. So thank you so much to the Romulus Police Department and Josh Monty. Another person that I'd like to give a special thanks to is Kevin Krause from the fire department. There's this thing you guys do called an action plan when you have big events, and I was a rookie at this, but there's so many moving parts that we needed to make sure of. And so many of the folks in the and Kevin was kind enough to walk me through that paperwork and also to make sure that we were provided with safety issues. He made sure that we had first aid available, and it was tested and was flawless. I am actually a personal friend of the young lady who had the injury there, and she was quite pleased with your services. So thank you so much for such a great job. Next up, Bob McCrate and Jerry Freyer. I don't even know why they don't run in the other direction when they see me coming. These guys were absolutely amazing with all the millions of scathingly brilliant ideas that I had, and they helped me actually make them and bring them to fruition. So on behalf of the American Cancer Society and the Romulus Relay for Life, I'd like to very much thank you both for all your help. So this is for the Department of Public Works. I'm talking as fast as I can, folks, I promise, but this is very important to me, is that I recognize all of the folks that were so instrumental in making this successful. We have so many other people, Stacy, and I always just call you Wojo in my notes, you know that, right? So all the other folks that just pointed me in the right direction, there were just millions of them. Maria from the Pumpkin, just people that I could pick up the phone and go, where do I find a blah, 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 and they would give me referral and information. So a generic kind of all of you, I mean, truly it means a lot to me, to the city of Romulus in general for sponsoring our efforts and just giving us all of the resources that you possibly could. Now, Jerry and Bob, if you guys could just come up here for just a second. Yeah, this is just my notes. This is like now it looks like my desk. Okay. You show all the pictures that they brought you today for these crazy folks that formed the Romulus City Relay for Life team. These guys were delightful surprise. So, on behalf of the Romulus Relay for Life, I would like to present to you the most coveted award of all relay participants, this Team Spirit Award. In addition to that, they were the third highest raised team to raise money, raise funds for the Relay for Life. In addition to that, we had a Taste of Relay contest, and they were the winner of the appetizer portion of that event. Our prize-winning Romulus team, they're just awesome. All right, so that's it for your awards today, folks, but the favorite thing I hear from them is next year we're going to. So thank you so much, Team Romulus. You guys were amazing. Thank you. Actually, since Tim is here, I'd like to acknowledge also the Romulus Athletic Center for giving us a home and allowing us to have all of our planning meetings free of charge in their building and taking excellent care of us. So on behalf of the Romulus Relay for Life, to the Romulus Athletic Center. Okay, one last note, and then I'll give up my 3 minutes, I promise. All right, so like I've told all of you, thank you again, everybody, so much for making this happen, but I am not ever going to stop until cancer stops, so I'm going to keep asking, and now here's what I'm asking for now. Can you grab that shirt? So next year, every year, first weekend of August, we're going to do the same thing all over again, only better and better and better. So for 2018, the theme for the Romulus Relay for Life is not Relay Around the World, it is Relay Disney, so start putting your thinking caps on for that. We're already getting started on our fundraising efforts this year. Edwards over at the high school has been kind enough to put together a pink out game with the Romulus Eagles. Proceeds will be going to the Romulus Relay for Life. And these lovely t-shirts by another Romulus resident, Byron Butler, are going to be available for sale now. So, we're actually a really great team to play with, and we're really a lot of fun, and we're doing some really important work, and I can't do it without you. So starting on the fourth Wednesday of every month at the Romulus VFW, we're going to have planning or roundtable conversations, and those conversations are not necessarily, you don't have to be on a committee, but it's about a subject matter. The first one is getting the word out. So on October 27th at the Romulus VFW, if you guys have time, interest, or anything that you can input to help us spread the word about Romulus Relay for Life, please join us there. And then keep your eye on the website, and I'll be happy to come and speak to any of your, gosh knows that. But at any rate, I'd be happy to help spread the word about Romulus Relay for Life. And again, thank you all so very much for all your help.
Are there any other comments from the audience? Yes, Ms. Lemon.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Clerk, Treasurer, audience, and those of you at home. Wow, Shona, what a wonderful job. What a wonderful job. How can you be so negative after something like this? She went out there and she did it. She didn't complain. She didn't worry. She just got people to help her. And I just can't say enough about what you've done. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. My plans for the cemetery never reached that high. But with the help of the council and the mayor, we do get things done. We're working for another gate. We had a visitor at the cemetery board meeting, Leroy. He was a retired master sergeant, and he lives in Riverview. He had never seen our Medal of Honor winner. Well, the Medal of Honor winner's monument does not recognize that. It only has his name and the years of birth and death. This man, his name is Greg Farino, and he has been in Kentucky, and he has been in Texas. And he goes to the government VFW, and he requests monuments that designate. The Medal of Honor winner is the highest award you can receive. And somehow they listened to this man. He even showed us records of Charles Kajewski, his marriage license. So this man researches. There was a family here in Romulus called Cross, and his wife was a Cross. So Gerald Wendland, our historian, is checking in to see if he can find out. She's supposed to be buried in our cemetery. So he's checking into that. And I will keep you updated, Mayor, on how he does with getting this new bronze monument made for this man. And I'm very proud of him. Thank you.
Any other comments from the audience? No more comments from the audience? Oh, no comments from the audience? We'll close that part out.
Number 8 is unfinished business.
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth?
Last council meeting, we had a resident come spoke about a situation on Meadow Street, Mayor, and I read your response today and responded to the other ones, and I think that was excellent. And, you know, we can't go backwards, but I wonder if we could possibly get with the legal department and talk to the people that have right-of-ways in their town when something is going to take place on a resident's property, that they give us notice. They should give the resident notice, maybe a 10-day period before it's going to take place and start. So if something could be worked out, it can be worked out. I think that's a reasonable request. I mean,
What I can do is I'll ask Steve Hitchcock about it, what legally we can do. As mentioned, the state, they have the authority over right-of-ways. Maybe we can ask them to do some kind of courtesy notice for us as a community so that we can at least inform the residents. So I'll do that. I'll bring it to legal counsel and see what they say.
because I went there and I looked, and what they took down was at 28 feet, and it was inside the right-of-way. There was no ifs and buts about that. But they took the wood chips, and if you look at the fence line, they're building up the property above the, backyard of the homeowners. Maybe we could address that too. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Chapman?
Yes, last council meeting, I discussed I was helping a family try to get adjusted from a fire. I've been able to procure some furniture, but we are still looking for a table and chair that would possibly fit in an apartment, so a small size one. If you have anything like that, please contact me if you'd care to donate it. Also, if you have other donations, I know the Barringtons have set up one of their models over there that you can just take clothing, if you've got stuff you want to donate. There are other people other than, there were 36 families that were displaced. I'm only working with this one right now, but I know there are other people that need things. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, Mayor?
Yeah, if I could respond to a couple of issues. We got the complete report and the executive summary to council on the issues from last week, so we'll try to keep doing that each week if issues come up, so you know that we're getting those resolved. A couple that I wanted to comment on, the one came up about local streets, and Ms. Kraut brought it up, and I know that's exactly why we had two big initiatives to try to get some more funding for local streets. Part of the problem is it's not that we don't want to do more streets. Act 51 and the way the formula works does not provide enough funding to maintain, let alone to do new construction. So what we're trying to do is find new ways to do that economically. We have been able to do some patching and section repair, as you notice this summer that we did. So we're at some point as a community, we listened to the voters twice. There were local street initiatives that were out there. We did town halls. At some point, we're going to have to find a solve. If you remember, we shared in 2 study sessions with city council and with public hearing and in town hall meetings, the longer we wait, the more deteriorated those local streets are going to be. So the problem's only going to get worse. So at some point in time, if the funding mechanism doesn't change, which we're trying to lobby at the state level to do that as well too. Act 51, as council knows, covers based on the population and miles of road. That doesn't work for most communities, but think about Romulus. What do we have right in the center? We have the airport. So we have the airport in the center that draws 18,000 people every day just to work that come across some of those roads. So we're getting no financial benefit from that whatsoever. So we've been trying to tell the story in Lansing that that's flawed, not just for most communities, but particularly for Romulus, and try to find other ways to get funding. So I would welcome Ms. Crowder or anybody, if they want to come in and learn about the details of local streets, we'd love to do it. It's basically the funding mechanism. Some that I won't comment on. The one I will, because I have to, because when people call out your name, I have my write-in candidate challenger coming here making wild accusations. I'm not going to try to address all of them. What I do want to say is this. When I was on council, and some of you were there too, I can't speak for Mr. Miller's actions, why he resigned. I believe it had to do with a water bill dispute that he wasn't happy with, had nothing to do with PD. No one on council knew the details of what was going on, so I'll let that go and let the facts speak for themselves. When he makes wild accusations about me and in prior employment, I'd like to remind council and the public that look at my first inaugural speech when I talked about thanking Bering Service for letting me walk away from a job, a vice president executive level job that, by the way, paid more than this one, to take on the city that I love, to bring my talent here, and thank the residents for doing that. They did allow me to stay on their board as a part-time employee, so I walked away from a full-time benefited job to do that, and I'm not sorry I did. I'm glad, and I mean that means a lot to me that the residents have the confidence and they saw that talent and that ability that they wanted to see put in place in their city, and we're doing just that. And I love it when he's giving compliments to people like Tim Keys, because I want to compliment Tim Keys. He's an awesome guy. You know, when you're doing good work, there's plenty of credit to go around for everybody. So it's never been about Burcroft, it's been about the city. And if somebody, the one that he mentions that hard to get, boy, if you want to talk to me, you let me know. I'm out in the field, I'm in the office, I'm in departments. You know, you want to get any FaceTime with me, you let me know. Right, Jan? You know, so believe me, I'm here to serve you. I'm proud to serve you. I'm not going to try to address all these other issues because it's a political game and we've got an election coming up. All I want to say is that City Council, thanks for your support. Treasurer, Clerk, Romulus residents, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I want to do the best to make you proud and make our city move forward. So with that, I'll leave those other comments where they lie.
Yes, Ms. Page.
Thank you. As I said earlier, today taxes were due and water deadline is coming up as well. And I just want to thank my staff as well as far as compliments because they work really hard. A lot of people come in to pay those bills and there's some other things that they need to handle their business there, and the staff works really hard. So Tracy Leininger, Jeremy Taylor, and Ron Witten, they know how important customer service is, and they are at that counter and they are working hard and they put the best effort forward and wait on those customers and provide that good customer service that's coming out of the treasurer's office. So I want to thank them because they're a great team and they make my job easy. So thank you to all three of them. And thank you to Steve today. He spent a good portion of his day in my office today helping with the software. So thank you. I do appreciate that.
I'd like to say one thing about the Flyers team, John Webster. I know my grandson used to play with Flyers, and it's like a training ground for our varsity team in high school. Got some great players come out of this system. So kudos to the Flyers and any kind of league that helps these young kids grow into grown men. And football is very important. Sports is very important to give you discipline and the way to deal with life. So kudos to you and the Flyers and all the little leagues in the city of Romulus. Thanks.
Is there any more unfinished business? Number 9 is new business. Number 10 is communication.
Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to announce that Kids Night Out at the Rack is back. Kids Night Out happens the first Friday of every month, and you can get a chance to get away, leave your kids at the Rack for a fun-filled night of swimming, games. It's all supervised. And they provide pizza and drink. They ask that you register ahead of time by Thursday so they can staff properly. This is the first Friday of every month, and the rates are pretty reasonable.
Thank you.
Number 11 is adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are adjourned. Thank you.